So, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Data Jazzers live from Redmond. It's already number 6, and after summer break, we are super excited to continue our journey. And first of all, our co-host, one and only Jay. Hi Jay, good to see you again.
Hey, Nicola. Yeah, good to see you. How are you? How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine, thanks. First of all, I need to provide explanation why Augustin is not joining us. He's not enjoying his vacation anymore, but he has a good excuse not to be with us. So he's gonna marry tomorrow. So preparation
Oh,
are in final stages.
oh wait, it's
So
his wedding that he's going to.
yes, it's his
Oh, I
wedding.
thought a wedding. Okay,
No, it's his wedding. It's his wedding.
that's kind
So
of important.
good reason to be somewhere else. But we send him greetings and yeah, looking forward to.
Congratulations as well when
Yes,
he receives
absolutely,
this
absolutely,
after all of this. Congrats,
absolutely,
August.
absolutely, and looking forward to having him again next month with us. Uh, Today we have Rian from your from you. He's not in your team, but from Microsoft. Hi, Rian, and first of all, welcome to Data Jazzers, and thanks in advance for your time and for joining us.
Yeah, we do happen to be on the same team, I think, me and
Yep.
Jay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's actually I didn't know you were a co-host, Jay. So this is surprising to me too. Wow. Okay. Congratulations
Lo-
to yeah.
Lots of surprises here. No, Rian is absolutely on my team. So we both work under Amanda, and we have our own little focus area, obviously, but we can talk about that a little bit more.
Nice, nice. That's good to know. That's good to know because sometimes we have also people joining from other teams, but yeah, that's good to know. And yeah, maybe Rian, for the beginning, for the starters, with a gentle introduction, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? What is your current role within the Power BI team?
Yeah, so I'm Rian. I was born in California, raised there, went up to Bay Area for school, came up to Washington to work for Microsoft. So, you know, keep moving north. Uh, Soon I'll be in Vancouver. Soon I'll be in Alaska, and then I'll be working for the elves. But
That's a movie, I would say.
um,
Awesome.
my current role within Microsoft, so I'm a PM. I work with Jay or on on Amanda's team. So I work on the self-service organization, and currently my role, my ownership area of ownership is the Q&A visual, and so that's our existing natural language. You can ask questions, get some answers about your data experience, and then I also own Azure Maps. And so prior to becoming the PM for Q&A, I was the general core visuals owner. So that was like tables, charts, line charts, matrices, etc. But since then, we've passed that on to Miguel Myers, and now I've just solely contented myself with continuing to push our maps forward. Um, so those
That
two.
sounds much more exciting than tables and matrices, I would say.
I don't know. Like there's a lot to go on with tables and matrices, and everyone uses tables and matrices, right? And so there's
That's true.
definitely a
That's
lot
true.
of value to be had in like getting to work on that and getting to learn a lot about what all the different requirements that people. It's like there are a lot of really interesting problems, right? And as a PM, a lot of the things you have to do is you have to think about what are all these different things that people are asking for, and what's the most important, right? And helping to prioritize and helping to consider the trade-offs and making sure that you're giving people an experience that helps with all users.
Right.
And in that sense, getting to work on tables and matrices, and hopefully Miguel's watching this because I'm just talking of his area, not even my stuff anymore, right? But getting to talk, getting to work with tables and matrices in these kinds of high usage areas creates for very interesting trade-off questions, right? And very interesting prioritization questions. And so
But the
I
same
would
is
say
true for maps.
that area is also important and also very interesting to work on.
Yeah, and I mean, I would argue that loads of people use maps as well, right? And there's
Yeah.
loads of improvements that we can do in the
totally.
product on maps.
Right. Oh my! Don't get me started. Like there is so much that we have to do on maps. I mean, I yeah, it's
and Q&A, but we can talk about that.
and Q&A.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
No, there's definitely enough meat for this split, right? Originally, we owned everything, and now we basically split it into two to get more focus on both areas. So.
Yeah, exactly.
makes sense. Makes sense. From my personal perspective, as someone who works with Power BI on a day-to-day level, I would say Q&A feature didn't get so much love in previous period.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
something changing now? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
What can we say, Jay? Yeah,
I mean,
there's stuff changing. So here's the thing about Q&A. And maybe Jay, you can you've had some exposure to it too, so you can chime in if you want. But
sure.
one of the nice things about Q&A as an experience from the start is that it gives you a consistent and reliable answer. It's really good at telling, you ask it a question and it's really good at mapping the kinds of things that you're saying to the data in your model. And that's very different from the what's currently growing in popularity or notoriety, let's say, the kinds of natural language experiences that you see now, right, where that are very reliant not on linguistic principles, but rather on like large language models, right? Just pure numbers and probability and statistics. And one of the problems with that is, when you start to introduce a lot of variance in there, um, you start to create situations where, maybe the AI is thinking you mean something when you don't really mean that, because at the end of the day, it's just trying to like associate the words you used with other words, right?
Hmm.
um, the Q&A visual, which is current, like as it is right now, which is based on those, linguistic concepts, which is based on, this is a noun. I take your sentence and I break it up and I actually understand the words that you're using. And I try to associate those words with data, entities in your data model. That's more consistent. It's more reliable. Yeah, there are some drawbacks to it too. And we can talk about why it is that it, hadn't received as much love. But it does provide its own unique benefits as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
makes
agree.
sense. Hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to recognize that, yes, of course, like the flavor of the month, right, or the flavor of the year, or whatever you want to call it, is Copilot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very clear, right? We talked about it. We will talk about it again very soon. You've seen Guy in the Cube video about it. You've seen some announcements around it. But that doesn't mean that you would necessarily want to build that whole experience from scratch, right? And
Yeah.
we actually have a tool in the toolbox that allows people to answer questions about get their questions answered, right? And that is the Q&A tool, right? And so a way to get to a co-pilot like experience that everybody wants today, that is also comfortable and repeatable, deterministic, as we say, right?
Yeah.
Could be leveraging Q&A, right? So that's kind of like how we look at that world. We go like, hey, we actually have a tool in the toolbox. If we give it some love, we might actually be able to use it to bring us to the what everybody wants to have, the gold standard of Copilot, right? So we'll
So yeah,
see. It's going to be a journey, but yeah.
it's not just about, this like one thing is old news, this thing is the new hotness. Let's focus on the new thing. It's recognizing where we can, when we think about what people are actually need out of their natural language, I ask questions, I get my data back, types of experiences. Each of these two different methods or engines or however you want, whatever's powering the question answering system brings with it its own advantages. Um, and so so when it comes to how should we put our investment into it, yeah, of course we do want to make sure, one of the things that the natural language, or sorry, that the LLMs help provide significantly, right, is they help make sure that you are getting an answer, right? They're good at handling vagueness. They're good at saying whatever you throw at me, I can give you something back, right?
Yeah.
And the
That's what I
Q&A,
wanted to ask.
yeah,
Is the LLM this missing ingredient that for Q&A, let's say for Q&A feature in Power BI, was that this missing ingredient that can push it to another level? that we all expect, let's say?
I mean, I think we see a lot of potential in it. And that is the reason why we're saying, hey, now that we have something to shore up where the current Q&A visual kind of lacks, right? The current Q&A visual, very good at answering these precise questions, very good at, when it does understand you, giving you the same answer every time, giving you a precise and exact answer every time. Well, what does that mean it's not good at? That means it's not good at handling that vagueness. And on the other hand, on the LLM side, what are those good at? Handling the vagueness. What are they less good at? Giving you a good, reliable, consistent, and accurate answer.
Right.
And so when we take those and have them hold hands, right? Our goal, our idea is, well, maybe this is going to help create that natural language experience that people will not only need but actually find useful, right? Not just as a novelty, not just as a selling oh, hey, you can use this, but it's an actual day-to-day use.
Looks nice in a demo, but when I try to use it with real data,
yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
And there's also a lot of caveats here, right? There's lots of if and potential and well maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We should temper expectations.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. We don't know.
We're all in exploration mode right now.
I mean, it's just an experiment. We don't know
exactly.
Nobody really knows what an LLM can actually do, right? When you put it through spaces in practice, nobody has really done that before. It's an awesome technology, but can you really marry it to this language understanding model? Will that work? Will these be able to talk to each other? Will that actually then provide a repeatable answer, yes or no? I mean, for example, LLMs, like large language models, right? So if you don't know what an LLM is, because you just used LLM as that's what it is, right? That's no worries. ChatGPT, right? The version, the poster child of these kind of new systems, use large language models to answer your questions. So just, if you were concerned and confused about what an LLM is, it's the thing that makes ChatGPT work. Those things are comically bad at math, right? And so you can ask it, hey, can you explain how 42 is larger than 15 or 42 is smaller than 15? It will say, well, if you ask those two questions, the first one will say, yes, of course, because 15 is smaller than 42 because you can count up from 15 to 42. But if you ask the same question, can you explain how 42 is less than 15? It will happily do the same thing. It will say, yeah, it's less because you can count up from 42 to 15.
Yeah.
So what it will do is do 42, 43, 44, etc. until it hits some level. Last time I tried it was 100 and something. And then it suddenly says 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it ends at 15. It says, look, it's smaller because I counted up. No, you didn't. And that's a problem because in BI, the business that we're in, doing math is kind of important.
Is 1 million this year more or less than 2 million last year?
So we kind of have to make sure that is reliable. So we have to figure out, and we don't know yet, will this even work?
Yeah.
We'll
but
see.
It's worth trying. I would say it's worth trying. I know a lot of people will rely on this if it becomes if it happens that it's really let's say reliable.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the crux, right? Can we make it reliable? Can we make it repeatable? Can we make that those two technologies work together?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. And it's an exciting development, and that's part of the reason, right, Rian? Part of the reason why we suddenly started investing in Q&A is to give us more opportunity for that integration.
Exactly, because we think that the LLM solution may not be the only piece that we need in order to make a truly viable, truly useful product. On top of that, I'll add that it's not like no one uses the Q&A visual right now. People do use it, and it does bring good functionality, even if it could be improved, right? We think it can be improved, but we do know that it brings value to customers in the present day. And at the end of the day, any improvements that we make to the Q&A visual right now for the, maybe for the sake of, eventually working with Copilot, right? Any improvements we make will still be in the product. They'll still be useful, and they'll still be usable by the customers who currently use Q&A right now. And so, that's what you'll see with like the current feature that we released just this month, the linguistic relationships, right? Those introducing that kind of experience into the Q&A setup is going to help authors who are trying to make sure that their Q&A visual is as good as it can be to help answer, all of their report consumer questions. They can still use that right now. We're doing that to set up. Well, okay, yeah, we're doing that to set up. We're doing that to set up like a bunch of Q&A and Copilot features, right? And we're investing in Q&A because of Copilot. But everyone who gets Q&A right now already gets those features as well. So, whether or not that second part is truly a win, this is already a win for anyone who uses Q&A. So that's like the flip side of it is you're already getting value, and that's guaranteed right now. So that's a nice thing.
Yeah. And I would say, even though it maybe look at first glance now as a small feature, potentially it has a really broad impact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, not both broad impact for improving your Q&A visual in the present day, and then also all of the potential impact in the future. So we did a lot of talking about that potential impact. If we want, we can talk a bit about what exactly is this feature doing and why is it useful right now.
I would.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not the host, so it's Nicola who
Okay.
needs to decide that. But I would want to learn from that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. +1.
Okay. Let me hit the present button on my screen then.
Oh, what? You're actually going to present here? Okay.
Oh, I mean, I don't have to.
That's
Yes,
fine.
you do.
I was gonna show you
You
all.
already told us, yeah.
I was just gonna jump into Power BI and start talking over
Now you do. I mean, you promised it, so go for it.
Wait, no, hold on. I don't have to. No, what?
No, go for it. Come on.
Okay, here. Let me hit the present button.
Nice.
Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Oh, that's not good because I only have 1. But we'll do our best anyway.
So someone is in the chat going demo. Yeah, exactly.
Demo. Yeah. So
I want to see a demo. So there you go.
So I'm gonna. Oh, I have to share my whole screen. Okay.
This is good that it wasn't prepared.
Yeah. No, this is all live, and just to be
thanks, Rian. We appreciate.
Yeah. Just to be completely clear, even this is live and non-prepared. So what we have here is just a Q&A visual, and this is a pretty simple. This is a pretty simple data set. It's just got this is my test report. So you'll see a bunch of it. This is not a very well laid out report, but you'll see sales amount. Like I have sales, I've got countries, I've got categories, and so on. You can see my Power BI right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can see your pie chart on North America.
No, stop. No, it's okay. You don't see anything. You actually
Jay, close your eyes. Jay, close your eyes, please.
Wait, what's up? That was just to test one of the layer features of Azure Maps, by the way. It's you can like turn your data point, each bubble, you can turn those bubbles into pie charts. And so not only is the size scaled to sales amount, you also get the individual like share of the sales amount. So that's why this bubble is so much smaller than this bubble, because let's just say that you sold so much more in United States and Canada. So it's actually pretty cool. Sure, maybe it should be a donut, or maybe it should. I don't think you can put tree maps onto that, but Jay, if you want to come help design new layers, please feel free. We could use it. But we've got here we've got a Q&A visual, and I could ask it any questions, but let's say what I'm interested in is like, I don't know, what is the best selling product in the United States? And you can see that it's taken my statement here, and it's kind of like taken the words that it understands and
Mm-hmm.
associated them with data, right? So like this product is like product unit. I guess it is associated with product unit cost, right? Here we've got United States,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's just giving me the top product because it doesn't really know anything else. It doesn't know any better, right? And you can see this best. It thinks okay, maybe best is top product,
Top one,
kinda
like top one, yeah.
right? It just doesn't understand the word selling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you'll see that with a lot of the different types of words that we use to modify other words, that it doesn't necessarily understand how those words relate to the other words, right? Or let's say you're trying to connect two different um, two different ideas, right? Uh, that are related to your data in your data model. It may not really understand what that relationship is and how to draw those connections.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's what the benefit of Q&A setup is for, right? So originally we had one thing, which is synonyms.
Mm-hmm.
And what synonyms does is it lets you, use different names for the fields in your model, right? So, this isn't like a game company, but let's say if I was a game company, the example I always use is, all of my columns are named product, but really this product is my console. So if someone is asking about console sales, I'll be able to create a synonym here that associates product with console. I'll just go down to, product name here, and I would be able to add like console, right? And then every time I use the word console, it will understand
And that
that
it's a product.
product,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it is actually console. Um, and that's what synonyms are for. But from our knowledge, or not my knowledge even, but the knowledge I just came on like 4 5 months ago to this project. But for the people who developed the Q&A visual in the first place, they're still at Microsoft. They're still working on Q&A, right? They're from their experience and from the data that they've seen, synonyms only account for 50% of the unrecognized terms that the Q&A visual sees. So like, these product or whatever, when I'm trying to associate them with data, that's only 50%. The other 50% is accommodated for by what we call relationships. And so the introduction of this relationships tab in the Q&A setup menu gives you the ability to define a ton of new types of words and phrases that customers are using, or that your report users are using, that you didn't have the access to beforehand. Before you had to like go into the YAML that
And
defines the
change.
linguistic schema and change them yourself, and now you get an actual UI. And that's really important because linguistic relationships, it's not like synonyms. Synonyms is just this name equals that name. Linguistic relationships, there are a bunch of different types of linguistic relationships, and because this is actually based on linguistic principles, um, or like actually based on grammar rules of the language.
Yeah, more reminds of a natural language, right?
Yes. And so now you'll need to, so let's say, I want to say best selling modifies products, right? If I'm talking about best selling products, I'm going to say that some products are best selling. So I'll say it's an adjective, and I'll say that some products from my sales table, because I'm about to associate it with my sales tab or my sales numbers. So I'll say some products are best selling. And then I'll go into the condition, and I can even say, so this tells you that when I say best selling, I'm probably referring to these products. And so now it should already update, it would upgrade this to say product names instead of this product unit cost. But on top of that, I'll even add, and actually, when is a product best selling? A product is best selling when sales amount is greater than, I don't know, like 10,000. I don't know hopefully this is enough.
Yeah, relevant for data.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual numbers of all the sales things are in this data set, but let's do this and see if it works. And so now you see that it's already refreshed my visual.
Mm-hmm.
And okay,
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. I mean, you're brave,
And you see
dude, to
so
do a
what
live
happened,
demo like this, by the
and
way.
now you see that there's a ton of products that sold more than that. So maybe I can just go up.
Is this AdventureWorks?
This is the eventual, yeah.
Yeah, so I
No,
guess
I don't-
it's
is
up
it
in the
more?
millions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not AdventureWorks actually. It's
Contoso.
Contoso. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
Oh,
then
Contoso.
I
then
don't know.
maybe even more than that.
Look at us just troubleshooting a data set right here live on air.
Well, this is actually nice, right? Because it helps you actually make those comparisons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still.
Okay, it's still a lot. Okay, I guess
Mm-hmm.
there is a ton of best selling.
But I mean, the point is clear, right? It's
But the
basically like,
point is,
hey,
yeah, you can do this, and one of the nice things is this actually lets you work with your data and explore your data in a new way, right? So I mean, I could just keep adding zeros, but I don't think it's that important.
no, but it's very important that it's not just about the synonyms. It's also just like
Yeah,
phrasings, right? So relationships, like best selling. What does that even mean? When do we call something best selling when we talk about a product? Or let's say we are both in a product and a
it's
services
selling a lot.
business,
Yeah,
right? Then best selling might mean something completely different
Mm-hmm.
when we are selling products versus a service, right? So that's very important that we have this capability now. And as we alluded to in the beginning, you might see that eventually some marriage between this and Copilot would actually be the thing that we would be after, where you as a report author also then can use this kind of capability to kind of like tweak how the Copilot behaves, right? So that's kind of like why these kind of investments are happening right now.
yeah. So one of the nice things, so to get started, even for the Q&A visual to begin with, right? One of the nice things was you can use this to make sure that the Q&A visual understands what your users are asking for, guaranteed. And this is the case for the Q&A setup. This is why we have the Q&A setup in the first place. It's that you can, and now that we have relationships, so you can introduce these kinds of modifications, right? And there are so many different types. It's like verb, adjective, noun, preposition, all these different types of ways that you can relate words and phrases to other data entities, or some data entities to other data entities.
I like this. I like this really, and I think really broader audience will benefit from this.
Yeah, and then the other thing is this type of definition, like Jay is saying, is going to, or we hypothesize that this type of definition will help smooth out the kind of consistency issues that you might see with using large language models to kind of just like autocomplete your phrasing, or
Mm-hmm.
your questions, right? That's kind of what they're doing in the back end. And instead of having to rely on them to autocomplete your questions using the sum of human knowledge, you have these high confidence, hey, when people say this is what they mean, types of associations that they can make. And that hopefully is what pushes us over the top and makes for a reliable and consistent product.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for this demo. Yeah, I think it's much easier for all of us to understand how it works behind the scenes when you show us instead of just talking. So thank you very much,
So
Ian, for the demo.
was this a first on the live stream?
Was
A
this my
demo?
first live stream demo?
No, I
Yeah.
mean for this, like the Data Jazzers live from Redmond. I think this was a first, like a live demo on the
Oh,
stream, or no?
I think maybe we had Miguel also showing something, but
Ah, okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember exactly, but I think he also shown something with new card visual or something like that. But
Okay, could be.
yeah, this one was also amazing. Yeah.
I mean, we're upping the ante, right? I mean, next time the next guest will have to do a live demo.
Yeah.
Well, after that, they have to like start like getting a projector, and then
Yeah.
they have to do it like a live click through.
Jay, and
Yeah,
we
before
sent
you know it, I need to
them
start
data set.
writing that.
Yeah, we
Before
sent
you
them
know
data
that,
set. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
before you know it, I'm like live writing DAX on the air, right? I don't want to do that. Anyway, sorry, Nikolai, I cut you off.
No worries. I was about to say that live demo plus we send them the data set like 10 minutes before the stream. So they
Yeah.
they need
Oh,
to
Oh,
so
improvise.
you know it's live, and that it's like raw, unedited. Like
I
they
think you should rename the live stream then, right? To like
and it turns into
like
like
tripping up
challenge.
Microsoft employees or something like that.
Yeah,
Like smarter than the data analyst.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Rian. So we are almost out of our time. Before we say to you good, thank you and goodbye, the question that we ask all of our guests: what is your number one missing feature in Power BI? So it doesn't necessarily need to be something related to your area of work. So generally in Power BI.
Hmm. I don't know if this counts as a feature. What I'll say is, I think that especially when I was getting started, like I don't know, years ago at this point, but when I was getting started, I felt like the new user experience could have been improved a lot. And one of the best ways that it could have been improved was the create like the visual creation and layout type of experience, right? Like that kind of formatting. Uh, that's not like a visual by visual thing, but like a like here's what here are like different types of reports. Here are different things that and then you can plug your data in to these different types of visuals. That kind of templating report layout that just gives people what they need from the start. I think that would be a really powerful and convenient feature for a lot of people because a lot of people they're not looking for they're not trying to create these like super deep, in-depth, intricate custom things, right? They're saying I need to be able to look at my data and I need to be able to answer these XYZ questions. And those are pretty common amongst a lot of different industries and a lot of different customers. And so being able to, if we could provide that and just help kickstart people with report creation, I think that would be very powerful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, with the Q&A now, you can provide some kind of templates in advance. I think that will
Oh
help
yeah,
people
yeah,
answer those most common questions.
yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the cool things about Q&A is you don't have to make any visuals. You just put it on there and you say,
Yeah,
you ask your question. I don't care, right? I'm done. Um, so hopefully that's what it helps do, right? And it helps eliminate what a lot of people, the need to try to, create this like 20-page report with like 50 different visuals, right? Now you can say, okay, do this, filter this, and you can do that ad hoc. And being able to do that ad hoc, I think will be very powerful.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I agree 100%.
Jay, I see your comment. What do you think is missing? I'm out of ideas. Yeah, that feels like such a lie. Like, yeah, I feel like you have so many things that are like
The reason,
because your product knowledge is high, right? Like
the
don't get me wrong, because you know the
Wait,
product well, you know the ins and outs. Like you're like, I could think of like 50 different ways off the top of my head that the product like that Power BI could be improved like right
don't
now.
accuse our co-host that he's lying.
Uh,
Please.
Rian, the reason that I'm asking this is because many times Nicola and August surprised me by also asking me the same question on the spot, and then I'm like, I don't know.
oh yeah, oh I see what you mean. I know. Yeah, okay.
I'm just not prepared.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I don't want to be, but I agree with you, by the way. I mean, if we think about onboarding and getting started, there's a trap there a little bit because many of us, or if not most of us, who are working on the actual product, developing it, have been around for a while, right?
Yeah.
So the time that we were brand new to this product is like it's behind us. So it's really hard to kind of like take a step back and go like, well, what actually matters to people that are just brand new to the product? So that's why I love, for example, when new PMs join the team that haven't worked with Power BI at all, for example, what we learn from them, like that doesn't make any sense. Right? And you go like, why? Oh, well, you're right. I never thought about that. So that's it's really hard to kind of like take that step back from your own experience and go like, okay, as a brand new user, what would matter to me? How can we improve the situation? So I agree. We can do a lot better. We get the feedback, right? Power BI Desktop is complicated. Let's not talk about the DAX language, but the DAX language is complicated, right? So we know there's like a steep learning curve before you are comfortable using Power BI, and anything that we can do to make that better is a win. However, with like the law of being around for a while, basically means that also the people that make these decisions are less focused on a brand new user, because then they themselves are not a brand new user anymore, right? So that's also a little bit of a flip side there. But I agree, templates. Also, again, you could imagine that if we had a grand Copilot thing that would allow me to generate a layout or generate a fresh report, I mean, that would be a great starting point, right? I can just walk up and say to Q&A, hey, or to whatever, give me a report based on this data that gives me insight into these and these and these and these questions. Generate a report. And then I can tweak it from there, right? Because it probably is not exactly what I wanted. Fine. But you can also look at like these investments as ways of onboarding people. So yeah, I agree with Rian. Onboarding is still more important, and we want more users to use Power BI. So make it easier, make it easier, make it easier. That's the goal.
Yeah, sounds easy, but yeah, but thanks for all the effort. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Good.
Rian, once again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us, and especially thanks for this live demo. We all appreciate it, and our audience as well, I'm sure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are really looking forward to see how these features that you're working on develop over time, and maybe in a few months we'll see each other once again if we have something new and exciting for Power BI community. We'll be very happy to host you again.
Absolutely. We'll see when that is. Yeah.
He's not telling you anything, Nikolai. He's not gonna tell you any dates. You can try all you want. He's not gonna.
Okay. I see. Pressure doesn't help.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No.
Okay. Then for all the others, thanks for joining. We are looking forward to the next month update. Rumor has it that it will be epic.
I mean, isn't it around Power Platform Conference?
Yes.
That's going to be exciting.
Okay. Yeah.
Exciting.
Let's finish with that.
No, stay tuned, because that is going to be like, if you felt like the last couple months were quiet, hold on to your hats. The last months of the year are just going to be like busy for you to catch up. We've got loads and loads of cool stuff to come. So yeah, stay tuned for next month.
Thanks again, and see you next month.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.